Hi, my name's Simon. I'm currently an undergrad at Oxford studying physics at St Peter's College. The reason I'm making this video is because a couple of weeks ago I posted a comment on the Saeed Business School's channel on one of their videos saying that I could give people advice if they wanted a hand in applying for science for physics specifically. And I actually got quite a few people contacting me, so I thought this would be a good way to get just some general observations and some advice out into people's easily accessible information stream. So a couple of common questions that kept coming up, I just thought I'd try and answer here. And if this gets a good response, then I will put up some more videos. And incidentally, if there's anything in this video that I don't cover, please, by all means, leave a comment or send me a message, and I will try and make a note of everything and try and get back to you. If not personally, then in another video like this one. And the first common question that kept coming up was, what do Oxbridge, I should stop saying Oxford in particular, there is another place in Cambridgeshire, what do Oxbridge look for in a student? And there are two real things that they look for. The first thing is kind of obvious, really. You have to have really high grades, and you're looking at basically straight A's, at the very least, A level. I don't know what the equivalent would be for IB. I wouldn't be the best person to know about that. And at least one, maybe two A stars predicted for A2. And that's really, the people who I'm at university with, everyone's got straight A's, and I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head who hasn't. I was the last year that didn't have an A star, I should point out, so I wouldn't know, but I'd say that 90% of people would have one or two A stars, probably more. So that's the first thing. Secondly, they look for people who really are into their subject. They don't necessarily live and breathe and excrete it, but they do really enjoy doing it. And that's the key thing. You genuinely don't find it a task to do it. And there's a reason for that. And it's only become apparent to me since getting in. But the reason for that isn't because it makes you a better person. It doesn't make you a better student. But it means you're actually going to survive the course at the end of it. Because unless you really don't mind staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, God knows how many nights a week, really putting in the hours, working 60-hour weeks, unless you're willing to put in that level of effort, even if it's not required all the time, you're not going to survive the course. So it's not to exclude people, it's literally just to say, well, are you going to survive? That's why it's important. So the two things that they look for: academic results, dedication, and actual enjoyment of your subject. The next common question that kept coming up was, how far do the universities look back at your academic record? Basically, are they going to look back at your GCSEs, your SATs, whatever? And the honest answer to that is, for me, like my particular case, they looked at my AS results, my module results. They looked at my A2 predicted, which is of course what your results are going to be, your offer is going to be based on, and they didn't really look at my GCSEs at all. And I don't know if that's specifically a science thing or if it's a humanity thing, but as far as I can tell, the only results that really matter are the most recent ones. The only reason they would pick you up on your GCSE results or your SATs results is if they're unusually bad for someone who's applying. So at GCSE, for instance, if you didn't get any A stars, and yet you're applying to Oxford and you got really good results in your ASs, they'll probably ask you why you think that's the case. And in some ways, that's kind of good for your interview, because it means that you have something to talk about. You can say, well, I got much more discipline. I really wouldn't worry about GCSE results if you think they're going to hold you back, because they really don't matter when it comes to applying. Don't think that because you didn't get 11 A stars or whatever, then you're not smart enough, because it's just not the case. There's a friend of mine who's doing NATSCI at Cambridge, who's on track for a first, who got a B at GCSE. He didn't get straight A stars at all. So it's nothing to worry about, and it's just your ASs that count. So make sure you do well in your ASs and you have good A2 predicted. Something else that came up quite frequently was, how do I choose a college? And is there an advantage in choosing a bigger college because they're going to let more people in? And this is, again, something that I've only sort of been clued into since talking to people having got in. But the idea of the Oxford system anyway, and it's similar in Cambridge with the pooling system, but the idea being that you have your interviews and you're assessed whether you're good enough to do the course. You're not assessed whether you're good enough to do it at that college. Say there are 4 places available at the college you apply to, And if you're one of the best 4 applicants that they interview there, you'll be given a place at that college because that's where you said you'd like to be. But if you're not one of the top 4 applicants, but they think you're suitable for the course and that you do well, and they think you're good enough for it, then they will give you a place at another college. They will find you a place. Everyone who leaves their college thinks that it's the best college. So there's no advantage at all in applying to a bigger college because you think there's more places, or a smaller college because you're more likely to get in because there's less applicants. Honestly, just apply based on things like sporting criteria, if you're a keen sportsman or sportswoman, if you're a musician, if there's a really good music scene, or if it's just close in proximity to your faculty, or whatever. You don't want to be a million miles away from your department, but equally you don't want to be just across the street, because that means you're never going to see Oxford or Cambridge. The next question that came up quite frequently was people asking what they should include in their personal statement. And it's sort of based really on what Oxford or Cambridge are looking for. So the big thing that I would say is show that you're into your subject. Talk about your work experience, if you're doing medicine in particular, like the time you spent either working at a hospital or an old folks home or anything like that. Just show that you've had dedication in the past to your subject and say what you got out of it. Don't just say like, oh, I learnt to do such and such and such and such. Say that you enjoy doing it. Beyond that, talk about your interests. They're looking for rounded people. They want people who read, who like listen to music or play sport, or they want people who aren't just work automatons. Automator. They want people who are people. My cat's just walking. Hello. So in like a couple of sentences, say, I play saxophone and I like the music of Bach. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give. Just make sure that you come across and how interested in your subject you are. And don't undersell yourself. It's not one of those times where you should be afraid of being arrogant. Yes, I know you're there. It's really a time when you have to try and sell yourself to the university because it's the one chance you're going to get. Think of it like that. The last thing that people were asking about was interviews and just, help. And people were asking about how to deal with the interview situation. The best advice I can give for that was what a medic in the year above me told me, and that's just to relax. Pretend you're not in your interview. Think of it as talking to your teacher or whatever. Because in my first 3 interviews, I was under pressure. I didn't really perform very well, especially in my maths interview. I was shaking. I was really nervous. I wasn't performing well at all. And as a result, did as well as I could have done. In my last interview, when I went to St. Peter's, much more relaxed. I thought, well, I probably haven't got in already, so let's just try and have a bit of fun. And as a result, I wasn't in a high-stress environment. I was relaxed. I got in. Don't get stressed, because if you get stressed, you won't perform as well. And I know it's a really hard thing to take in and to actually do, but honestly, it will do you the world of good. Stop worrying. Go in there. Kick ass. And I lie. There is one more thing I want to say. Be careful of your expectations of university experience. I came to Oxford thinking it's going to be amazing. I'm going to love it, make loads of new friends. And yeah, I've made lots of new friends, and I have enjoyed it, but it isn't the best thing since sliced bread. I think it'd be safe to say the first 8 weeks, my first term, Michaelmas, was the most miserable 8 weeks of my life. So be careful about going in and thinking it's going to be fantastic. I'm not saying it's going to be awful. For most people, they found it, to live up to their expectations. Just don't go in expecting to be blown away. Because even though you probably will be, you can be really disappointed. So, good luck to anyone who's applying. I really wish you well. And, contact me if there's anything in this video that you think I should talk about, or if there's any questions that you want to pose to me. Either comment on the video, send me a message, and I will get back to you either in video form, or I will send you a Facebook message. I will send you a YouTube message, or comment on your channel. So yeah, it'd be great to hear from you guys, and I hope you'll do really well, and I hope to see you in Oxford, and not Cambridge. See you in a bit.